Yes. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Yes. So could you go through those questions that I had sent you, you know?
No.
Okay, then let's do it like a normal discussion. It's even better because it looks more natural, right? So
Pitching to everybody, just answering, trying to answer all of the questions. Normally, it should be okay.
yes. So and you built this company NBS Factory, right? Which is a
Yeah,
ESG intelligence SaaS platform, right?
correct.
What inspired you to become an entrepreneur? How do you describe your journey to date?
Sure. After my 25 years of experience building brands, and I thought I was always considered inside all of these big corporates as an entrepreneur. And a lot of people always told me, why don't you build your own business? And I have to see, everything comes with some opportunities. And sometimes opportunities, it's challenges. So whenever I came back from China, I didn't have a job at that time, so it was a good time to settle and just to rethink about what I wanted to do next. I had my daughter look at an ad for I don't know, it was baby care clothes, I think, and she told me, "Ma'am, why are they saying they're going to save the planet while they're producing even more to destroy it?" And and it really just made me think that because I knew how to build brands and just that marketing was not about greenwashing. I really wanted to help all of these brands just go through the challenge of transforming through all of the environmental, social, and governance aspects of a business, which is growing more and more. So that's really just how I became, and I decided just to go through that. I tested my idea through some companies called who are helping also women develop and think about their ideas and just see if ever it has some potential. And that's how it started. I surrounded myself with a lot of people just who were through the entrepreneurial network, and that's really how it started. And I got into it.
All right. So, I'm happy to hear that you also got a few new customers coming in. So it's just, the revenues are coming in. That's a good sign. Tell us some about your company and what problem does it solve in the market?
If ever you look at the last numbers from the European Union, you could say that one out of two companies currently are greenwashing because they don't just use the right terminologies and the laws are stricter currently. However, one of these initiatives, so on one side, companies are greenwashing, sometimes even without knowing. On the other side, you've got the customers, the consumers, and even some investors asking lots of the companies to become more credible and transparent whenever it's about their environmental, social, and governance activities. But really, just the challenge is that whenever you speak to the leaders of these companies, perception of what they're doing is just not equal to what they really think they do. And this sort of mirror effect just is that is important for them to really grasp how they're perceived. And this is what the NBS Factory is doing. Just it goes onto the social media network, grabs all the conversation regarding the environmental, social, and governance activities, and then just gives really the leaders just an image, a mirror image about what their key stakeholders are really thinking about them. So it's really just helping them drive their ESG strategy forward.
So if I understand correctly, they are actually spending money and time and effort on the ESG front, but there is a gap in the perception which makes them not realize the value of their investment. That's where you come in and make sure that they
It's
get the ROI, right?
It's
So,
exactly that. So it's how to make ESG simpler and also being able to be grasped for business leader in order to bring a return on investment rather than just being considered like a huge cost.
okay. And how do you see the opportunities and challenges in your sector? Like, what are the some of the bigger opportunities and what are some challenges you face?
So in terms of the opportunities, because there is regulation coming in, which is just also emphasizing on first avoiding greenwashing in all of the communication and the marketing from the companies. But also there is the a sustainable directive, which is asking in Europe just how actually the companies are also engaging their key external stakeholders. So this is really an opportunity, because just all this regulation is forcing a bit, the companies to go into ESG, because it's a major transformation, and like all transformation, you need to put resources, people, and money in. And if ever there's not the regulation coming in, sometimes the companies might be a bit reluctant to go into that. So this regulation is just an opportunity to drive the business. The challenge is that compared to some of the companies are still not there, clearly. And despite the regulation, and sometimes also some of the middle-sized company, they don't realize that sometimes they really face a challenge in terms of resources. So they're still not in driving this forward. So that's one of the challenge.
Who is your ideal customer, and what is your, like a 1 minute pitch to them?
My ideal customer are just customers who are first thinking environmental, social, and governance is important and is key strategically for them. It's not just an operational thing, but it's really strategic. The sectors who are actually currently being accused, for example, of greenwashing, and who really want to understand why and want to help their brand reputation build up, are in the energy sector, the bank and insurance also companies, and I would say also some of the big retailers and fashion industry. So these are just the key sectors that I am going just I'm pitching to. And really, the idea is really to help them prevent from big backlash for reputation. The fact that, so we can first create a diagnosis to tell them, beware, because these are the topics which are just coming and potentially which are becoming a risk for your reputation. So can we first help and sort this? Look, this is a topic, for example, let's say affected communities, is a topic where you've got a lot of engagement, but today you're not really communicating around it. However, you've got a lot of communities you're helping, and you're driving a lot of things just around this. So why don't you use this more in order to grasp your return on investment, while at the same time you're working onto the things where there is potentially a risk, typically traceability in your products, etc., which is longer and just to solve, but will help you tell you whenever it's going to be a good time just to start communicate around these topics and to find engagement around it.
And how do you differentiate from your competitors? What is your key differentiating factor?
I told you just the NBS Factory is primarily a social media listening platform with a focus on environmental, social, and governance aspect. But it's not just that. The differentiator with a normal social media listening platform is first visibility, to understand the business and to make the tools and the reports very simple for executives. So that's one key differentiator, because most of the time these tools are very you need to be almost a geek like to use them, and here just what the information we're providing is more relevant to the leadership of the companies. That's the first thing. The second thing is that we're also building a network of scientists and who are here to challenge the strategies, but also just to validate all of the communications and the marketing for the companies. So this is really just a key differentiator, and that's why I have just a scientific committee help me drive that. And thirdly, we're also providing training onto the same platform. So it's training for all of the employees to be able to communicate, on in their communication and marketing, but in a sustainable way, and also knowing the regulation, the latest regulation, in order for them just not to do any bad LinkedIn post with wrong wording, for example. So avoiding risks.
Yeah. So if I understand correctly, you use AI to analyze the social media and all the social listening. You have a panel of experts that will give them the right advice and develop a training material to make sure that the perception gaps are, covered. What they are investing in, they get the return for that.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Perfectly just so summarized.
Thank you. Yeah, you have migrated to UPilot, from another platform. How has been your experience with other CRMs, and what made you switch to UPilot?
What I've seen, UPilot, I've got quite the opportunity to have an integrated tool wherever I can just, of course, track my customers, but at the same time, I can also just, do a very relevant thing in terms of I've got my calendar integrated in it. I've got also just, I can sign my documents in them. The feature I really like is whenever I just put my presentation as a follow-up, also I can see just how many times they looked at the slides and which slides they were really focused. And so it's more than just a tracking system of customer wherever you input your customers and potential customers. Well, you receive the reminder that you've got to follow up. It's really just a sort of 360 tools that I can use with my customers, and also just the other advantage I see is just with my team. It's very easy also to manage and to spread. So that's all of this feature and just this ability just to have a more 360-degree kind of services for me to help me, but also to help the team and to make it easy for the customer to receive. That made me go to UPilot.
So the unification of different products, the unified CRM concept is what attracted you,
Yeah,
that gives
yeah.
you a full visibility of the customer on the same platform.
It does make it simple for me. That's actually what UPilot is doing for me.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Just a couple of more questions. How do you stay motivated? Because being an entrepreneur is a tough job, right? How do you stay motivated to keep on going and finding these customers, making these pitches? I heard that you're winning an award. You won an award and you'll be getting that as well. So you seem to be doing a lot of things.
Well, first, I think the primary thing is you need to work on the topic that's a passion for you. Actually, the NBS Factory is a bit like I always said it's a bit my professional ikigai. It's what I love to do, what I know to do, and I can have valued, what the world needs. So it's all of this together. And that's what keeps me running because I really love what I'm doing. And I'm convinced, I can help drive more business and more companies to switch to other ESG activities and value them. So that's the first thing. The second thing, of course, the entrepreneur life is just about ups and downs, and you've got high highs and low low lows. However, I would say the thing that gets me motivated is get surrounded by a lot of people, ditch all of the negative people around you. At first stage, I had a lot, saying it's going to be so complicated, and sometimes, surprisingly, these are the closer people to you, in terms of sometimes, you wouldn't expect your family just to be there, but actually sometimes they're so frightened they want to care about you, so they want to try and protect you. I stopped talking about my business with them. It's like all of this Christmas conversation. you avoid certain topics. And yeah, so I get really surrounded by some experts. Also, I bid a very good and high level advisory board who is helping me try and find customers, etc. I'm also part of the INSEAD network, just having all of us surrounded of business people. And I don't forget just to take care about myself, and I do some sport every week because otherwise I would just be totally desperate.
All right, that makes sense. Avoid negative people, avoid discussion with people who are sensitive to your failure, potential failure,
Yep.
because they get, trigger the fear inside you because they are also afraid. They don't have a bad intention when they're afraid for
Oh,
you. They're just projecting their fear onto you, and they don't want to be held responsible if you fail. That's the
yeah,
idea,
exactly.
right? But they don't want to say that, so they just tell you, "Hey, don't take those risks because no, you shouldn't come back and tell me it's you agreed for this." The biggest hack I have seen is if you tell them, "Hey, don't worry, I got this." And when they see your confidence, their fear goes away.
Yep.
So if you double down on your confidence and project that confidence with your family members, Like you got all this in control. Even if you're, like I call it like a duck. You're pedaling very fast under the water, but outside it's very calm.
I like the image. I will use that again.
You can start a positive loop that way. That's what I would say. Leads me to the next question. What is your vision for NBS Factory?
Very good question. Well, I really would like it to be an international, European-based, company in the energy sector, just in the retailer industry. You've got just in the retailers like IKEA, Decathlon, etc. Those well-known brands who are just aspiring to become big environmental and social leaders, and really just I'd like to be just the European tool that's going to help them drive their return on investment on building these strategies.
At a high level, what are you doing for IKEA?
For them, what we're doing is just a diagnostic. As you say, in terms of the AI tool provides either diagnostic looking at historical data or a monitoring in real time, just to be and providing alerts, for example, whenever it's about identified risk. It could be a greenwashing, it could be corruption, it could be any kind of topic, and all related to environmental, social, and governance aspects. For IKEA, what we've been doing is a diagnostic based on historical data, looking at all of their environmental and social activities. So it can be their own workforce, it can be pollution topics, climate topics, and see what's the spontaneous engagement, where it's the spontaneous engagement is, for them to really realize that this is a key topic they can drive upon and potentially highlight some other risks and some opportunities. For example, they had recently, this is public, so I can talk about that. At the end of February, there has been a big documentary on Arte, on TV, showing how IKEA has been just, producing furnitures, but really using wood in the documentary. They say really in a non-sustainable way. So it was interesting also to see all of the impact in terms of reputation for the French market, because here the scope of the French market. So it was very interesting, for them to really understand what are the topics where they didn't do enough, but who could just bring them more engagement and faster, the quick wins to bring just faster ROI, which were the topics where it was not the time to communicate, and they had more work to be done. And also, just they highlighted just really the some of the activists they could track on a regular basis, just to potentially get some weak signals. So this is really what we're doing with them.
So we met through the contact with Loyal VC. Is institutions like Loyal VC, is supporting these kind of causes as well, right? To become entrepreneurs in this area. So approaching companies like that would also be an advice that you think can be good for them.
Totally. Well, maybe I'm going to be sound a bit pretentious saying that, but I have been choosing the people who are investing into the NBS Factory. It's not the opposite. And why I decided just to go with Loyal VC is as simple as that. I think the only fund, the only VC where they're investing in, they've got 30% of their startups in their portfolio driven by women and led by women. This is very seldom still. So that's why I knew that with them, there wouldn't be any stereotype, any bias, and they would really be there just to help me, support me, and that gender was not even a topic. So these kind of, whenever I say surround yourself by the right people, Loyal VC is just an example, just about of impactful VCs who are just thinking out of the box just to make gender just not even a topic.
Excellent. Thank you for that shout out for Loyal VC. So where can people find you? Let's say, somebody wants to reach out to you, a potential customer, an investor, or even an employee who wants to work with you in the future. Yep. What's the best way to reach out to you?
Well, just there is on the website is on, it's just at nbs-factory.com. So if ever you Google NBS Factory, you find it, it goes up first. And so there is the contact form, just hello@nbsfactory.com. That's available. And there is also just a way to contact NBS Factory directly on LinkedIn.
So thank you very much for your time today, and it has been a pleasure connecting with you. And you being a customer, it's always get to know a little bit deeper your business. And good luck with the growing NBS factory to your vision.
Thank you, San. I'm very happy to get your support, and in a way, UPilot is also part of my surroundings. You're part of a positive people.
I'm happy to hear that, and we'll be in touch. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much, San.
Yes.